Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Abuja. Welcome to Daybreak Extra. It is a beautiful Saturday morning here. And yes, it's the Women's Month. Welcome to March. It's the second day of March so far. And March is recognized as, the month of celebrating women all over the world, precisely March 8th. So this is me advocating for women, to call more today. Please surprise us. Okay, we want to hear from the women, the mothers, sisters, girls at home, and even, in your respective place of work, if you work on Saturdays, of course. But then this month is that month where there is so much celebration and appreciation of women, of how far we have come, of the journey of women, of the diversity, the differences of our culture and our way of mothering and nurturing people around us, not just only the kids, but it is a very beautiful Saturday. And of course, Media Trust Group has a lot in stock for you in terms of celebrating women this month. So just stay tuned to all our platforms, so, Trust Television, the Daily Trust newspaper, Armenia, and also Trust Radio. We do have a lot coming up. But then, yes, Saturday is that day where we bring you a lot of, fun societal issues that we could really connect with, hear from our viewers. So it's really a very exciting day for us here on Trust TV. And as every Saturday, we have a very, relatable topic to talk about this morning. So we'll definitely be opening the phone line later. We will, of course, if time permits, get to look at some social trending topics. It's been weeks, so we'll try and bring you something, no matter how little it is today. And later on, we'll be having a special effect makeup artist, yes, joining us to talk about, the journey of that path, that career, which is a very unique one. There's a lot of things we see on our screen and we're wondering how it's done. So that would show us there. But then before all of that, we'll start by taking a look at the front pages of the National Daily. So when we come back, of course, we'll continue. And yes, I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. As usual, I'm with someone who makes the show more fun for me. Good morning, Fatima.
Indeed. I make the show more fun.
You need to be more humble than that.
No, I make the show more fun.
Oh, my God, where is her humility, I wonder?
Excuse me. We'll banter that one later. Good morning, Nigerians. I'm Fatima Ahmed Musa. Thank you so much for joining us once again on this special morning. And like Sumaya said, it is the month for the ladies.
Good.
So what do we have today, Sumaya?
Oh my God, we have a lot. But one thing I've already advocated for was for women to call.
I hope so, exactly. Because I would love to really hear from them, especially with the topic that we want to discuss. It affects everyone.
It does.
The whole family.
But women can relate more. Because no matter what, even
they get to stay up late.
It's 21st century, some women go to work, but then others majorly stay at home. So they can relate with all of this going on. But then, yes, it's time for us to take a look at the front pages of the national dailies. And as usual, we'll start with the Daily Trust newspaper here. Now, a lot is happening in Nigeria. The major story there is saying spaghetti laden that Boa truck looted in Zaria. The federal government to begin grain distribution in Niger State. There's been a long, talk about the whole food distribution, but then it's going to start with Niger, so we'd have to wait and see. And then honestly, I don't know the details of this spaghetti laden drama with Boa Truck, but then yes, if you want to catch that story, you'll find it on page 7 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Now, below the major story is another controversial story that has been trending for about a week or 2 weeks plus, even a month, even though it got so much in this week, where yesterday we woke up with the resignation of Daurawa's resignation that stirs controversy over Kano's war against immorality. Now the clerics urge reconciliation. Now, this story, of course, you find on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper, where there's been detailed of exactly what is happening there. Now, Sheikh Daurawa is he's the Commander General of Kano State Hisbah Board, and he is known, for advocating for moral behavior in Kano, and situation happened. The governor Abba Kabir Yusuf made some comments about how the board, that's the Hisbah board, tend to make some of their decisions, and it did not sit well with Sheikh Daurawa. From his angle, he said, if you want to say something, then you should call me, different, not saying it publicly, because it undermines my authority and it discourages me. So he made those comments, and he said he's resigning. And the controversy is definitely, the main lead of that controversy is the popular TikTok influencer Murja Netukunya, which was the cause of all of this. Fatima, you've been in the forefront of this, I would say.
Why would you say
because I know you are glued to social media, so definitely you've been hearing this, not in a bad way. We are journalists, so of course we should keep tab on what's happening. So I'm sure you have the details of exactly what's happening in this situation.
Well, it's sad to say, because some of the comments she actually made was the reason for the arrest, and the whole saga happening with the Hisbah, and the activities that they carry out in the state. What the governor was talking about is not what they are doing, but the way they handle the situation is what he is complaining about. They were going to arrest these people using the stick to malhandling and humiliating them, even if they are doing something wrong. That's what the governor was talking about. But I just feel there was a miscommunication or misunderstanding of what's the message that was passed across. That was what led to the whole situation. But then what Murja did is totally un-Islamic for me, and what other people are saying on the social media, like you rightly said, because she actually made some comments about supporting, or she should rather be the leader of whatever.
Okay. They were trying to stop her from being.
So I wouldn't want to mention, because
Murja is known for her funny situation. Yeah. She's quite funny. But then if there is one thing, we all know that she talks too much. And when you talk too much, of course, you don't
get
know
to say
exactly
certain things. Yeah. So
you don't know line,
that was what happened. A lot of people are supporting her, like, let her live her life. Some are saying no, it's a no, because Islamically what she was saying is it's actually called for the arrest. It's for people to know that, you can't come out on social media and say certain things without you getting accounted for. So that was basically what happened. So
it's okay. At the end of the day, I weighed both sides. Okay, and then even though the first time I saw the video of what the governor was addressing, I said, that is wrong. Islamically, we're talking about religiously rather. It's wrong. You don't go grouping, especially grabbing a woman
and then throwing them inside the van, and
even the guys and all that. So I get where the governor is coming from. But then clerics have come out to seek for a reconciliation, call for reconciliation between these two people, because there's mutual respect.
Yes. And we wouldn't want that to just vanish for some reasons.
Indeed.
The respect should be there, even if I hope he takes it back. I wish he just comes back, because I know they are trying to do whatever they are trying to do is for the betterment of the people of Kano State, because not just Kano State, wherever any unwanted behaviors are happening, there should be consequences for it, especially if you're doing it publicly. So yeah,
indeed, a really sad situation. We hope definitely there should be reconciliation. Sheikh Daurawa has created a great name for himself. The northern Nigeria feel his impact, and he's quite respected among the clerics in Nigeria. So we hope that, of course, the governor just reach out. We're not saying what the governor said is wrong, but then perhaps the channel he used was, yes, that we would leave it at that. All right, so beside that story, inside politics, we have 2027 issues threatening opposition parties' proposed merger. You find that story on page 41. Now, it's barely 9 months. Let's finish the first year first. But then already live humans, we always plan way ahead of ourselves. And then this has been going on for the longest time, where they said PDP, is it LP and NMPC, right? Are planning to, or NMPP, right? I said PC, okay. And NMPP are planning to, merge together in order to be to the ruling party, but we'd have to wait and see. But if you want to get the details of that story, you catch that on page 41. Now, CBN revokes licenses of 4,173 BDCs. You'll find that on page 4. There's been back and forth also with the federal government and the Bureau de Change workers, with a lot of things going on. But at the end of the day, Nigerians and the country, the economy is the first priority. So if it hurts some people and then it of course favors the nation, then that is a good thing. Now, beside that, we have MTN disconnect 4.2 million lines after NCC deadline. You find that on page 7. Now, I did the necessary things, but then we saw how MTN just went quiet on us. I think it was on Thursday.
There was a network
on Wednesday.
Yes, there was a network issue which they have sent a message apologizing. Hours. It's not just it's not just MTN actually. If you're using other networks, you know that it's general.
It is. But then for that Wednesday, that's what I'm saying. From, I think towards the evening
So that's what I'm saying. There are other networks that I use. So I'm just telling you that I feel it's general, because it's a similar thing that happens. Sometimes other networks could go 4 days without any network, and you have to just connect either to your internet, or whatever you're using to just, get your data network working again. But then it's actually all over,
Okay.
Yeah.
I really,
disconnecting 4.2 million lines. That's much.
Yeah, it is needed though, due to security issues, insecurity issues happening in the country, where a lot of lines
there are numbers that are not registered. Yeah.
So it's a good thing for us. All right, we have Pesero. That's Jose Pesero resigns as Super Eagles coach. You'll find that on page 4. Now he did leave a mark, on Super Eagles' performance. Even though some Nigerians are not really, they're not feeling right with him at the finals based on the position. And I've heard the experts on football discuss that. But then Jose Pesero has done a lot, for his career due to the AFCON of 2023. So let's move on. Below the headmaster, we have Nigerian conjoined twins separated in Saudi Arabia. That was a beautiful story that you find on page 9. Entertainment segment, they said, dumping my engineering degree for filmmaking came naturally. Okay, you'll find that on page 20. Now, these are some of the stories that you'd find on Daily Trust Saturday.
Okay, let's quickly take a look at The Nation this morning. The major story there says Naira over 4,000 BDCs loses license as CBN crackdown. Like Sumaya rightly mentions, operators sanctioned for breaching money laundering laws, orders, confusion over 10 billion Binance fine claim. You can find all that story on page 4. We're not after your job, NLC tells Tinubu. You can find that story on page 27. This back and forth with NLC and the president Sumaya. It's I remember yesterday laughing. Yeah, saying that don't dare me. You can't fight me. That was a headache.
I saw when the president was making that speech. All I did was I had my jaw separate from my mouth.
Why
though? He said, because it was surprising, exactly what he said. I understand the president is defending his administration and all that, but then the president will not act like the NLC are not, representing Nigerians, because the hardship is out there. People know what.
Yeah, but people are saying that they are not the only bodies that can that can.
He said in 9 months. They are the body that have been disturbing his administration. So if they want to participate in election matters, they should wait until 2027. Now, it just made it, that was him in his way. I know Mr. President is a very funny man, but it was in his way dismissing, what the NLC are standing for, which is for the fact that Nigerians are going through a lot, and he made it in a jokingly way. So honestly, I don't think that is.
Do you believe in once you make your statement known, you wait to see what action plays out? Do you believe in that? Because when you keep constantly doing one thing over and over, the main purpose of what you are doing would now begin to look like personal. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So
okay, yeah. So this is from the NLC part.
I just feel, so
it could be. I mean, some Nigerians are saying
because that's actually what everyone is talking about. Even yesterday I bumped into some comments on the social media. Like you said, I'm actually kind of glued to the social media. So I get most of my information there. So yeah, it's quite disturbing to see what people are saying. Some will always support the president. Some will always support the NLC or whoever is coming out to speak on the topics that
everyone has their own thoughts and ideologies.
So yeah, electricity, FG pays $120 million out of $1.3 billion gas debt. You can find that story on page 5. And a lawyer who brutalized maid to face attempt murder charge. You can find that story on page 3. Sumaya now, brutalizing a maid. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I did. I missed that.
So yeah, it's quite the fact that she's a lawyer.
The fact that she knows.
She knows the consequences of what she was doing, is what makes it even more worrisome. Because as a lawyer, the Constitution. What the law says about attempting to brutalize or abuse or bully even someone.
And she's a woman.
And
women are known to be nurturers. What could have gone wrong? I mean, the most you could do if you're not okay with the girl, send her back home.
Send her back home. Instead of. Well,
it's a no-no.
I'm sure you'll go through it and see what the story is much later. So yeah, you can find that story on page 3. Popular Nollywood actor Sisi Quadri dies at 44. Adeleke colleagues mourn the late thespians. You can find that story on page 2. Now, so yeah, that's a sad one for the Nollywood industry. We keep losing one person or the other, either in the Kannywood or the Nollywood industry. Like it's a sad one. Our heart goes out.
It's life.
Yes, so yeah. And then above the belt, banks. No going back on NIN BVN linkage to account deadline. Customers demand March 1st deadline extension. You can find that story on page 4. INEC opens Edo governorship nomination portal Monday. You can find that story on page 6. Now, yeah, like you rightly said, MTN has disconnected a couple of millions of lines, and then the banks are saying no going back on the NIN and BVN. Sumaya, it means there are going to be some accounts that will be shut down.
Yes,
and you have to.
And I'm ready. I'm ready because one thing
because you have your NIN connected.
I think I had the BVN connected, and this is why I fault the government with the back and forth. I feel like at that time where they were doing the BVN connection, NIN was already available, so why not just do it at the same time? Nigerians are known to be struggling. Now you need to go to banks. I am one of the people that haven't been able to, get to do that connection. And what I advocated for was, why not, send it online so that people can easily
register.
So I got this message from the bank I'm using, and I clicked in, and there was a lot of back and forth, and I got stuck. It's not working. Please make it easy for people to do it. A lot of people want to do it, but then going to the bank, you queue. If you don't know anybody there, then you have to queue for the whole day. It's stressing us. It's taking us back to when we're doing this NIN
Well, the NIN thing is you go to the NIMC, I guess, to do that, But for the BVN, I guess it's being generated from the banks.
Yeah, it's generated from the bank. But then the NIN, you send something to. There's a number.
Yeah,
and then they would send you the virtual NIN that you could use to connect to the bank.
You have to go and do the capturing.
To the bank. You go to the bank.
I get you. That's what I'm saying. But then the capturing and getting your NIN and everything, you have to go to NIMC to do that.
Is that people that still don't have NIN?
Yeah, there are people that don't have, because you know the community people that don't have access to come into town. A lot of them have banks and they have to go miles to
then
be able to use
make it easy for people.
Certainly. So
go to all the rural places so that everybody would be able to get that.
So yeah, you can find all the story on The Nation this morning, and that's it for The Nation.
It's beautiful. All right, let's quickly take a look at this day newspaper there. Now, the front page of this day, at the top of the page there, we have citing breach of regulatory provisions. The CBN revokes licenses of 4,173 BDCs. Above the headlines there, we have South African billionaire Wese says business exodus from Nigeria won't last. Well, I mean, we're grateful and hopeful for that. That is one of the things that definitely would raise our morale and hope, because we've always been scared of, investors leaving Nigeria. So now he's saying that we shouldn't worry, it's not going to last, it would come up. And seeing it from, a billionaire in South Africa who knows the cronies of business, then of course we'll take his word for it. All right, below the headlines there, we see Yoruba monarchs decry the incessant killings and seek urgent intervention. I mean, when it comes to killings, the North, have been going through it for a decade now. But then now that it's reaching the South, the Southwest, it's really sad, honestly, because it's like a plague now. It's spreading all over, and it's something that nobody wants to hear of it. We just hope that, of course, with the efforts of the security agencies, the federal and the state governments, and even ourselves, individual, will be able to tackle the incessant killings and insecurity in our country. Now, below that, we have tributes pour in as Abimbo Ogunbanjo is buried. Abimbola Ogunbanjo is buried. A sad situation there. Dapo Abiodun, Amosun, Daniel Dangote rather, Obiagbena, Duke, Igodalo, and others paid their respects. Major stories about the NLC and the TUC that replied. President Tinubu say Labour are desirous of effective governance, not partisan politics. Now that's a reply, because the president just hinted that Labour is all about politics, not about holding the government accountable. Ajaero workers won't condone threats and insists Nigerians deserve transparency, not empty promises and bureaucratic delays. Osifo said that's TUC. We are not politicians. It's our right to protest. Below that, we see Kano conjoined twins successfully separated by Saudi medical doctors. Now, these are some of the stories that you would find on this day newspaper there. Quickly, I would want us to take a look at maybe the Guardian, the Punch newspaper rather, because there seems to be a lot also happening there.
Let's take a look at the Punch this morning. Oh, well, we still boil down to the why 4,173 bureau de change operators' license were revoked. CBN. You can find our story on page 7. IT experts Odun Fa speaks on media futures at. Okay, so yeah, Punch dinner. You can find our story on page 8. NIN linkage, banks may block 70 million accounts. Customers demand extension as banks brace for enforcement. MTN disconnects 4.2 million lines not linked to NIN. POS operators protest deadline. You can find our story on page 4. Now, Sumaya, I just said it now. A lot of accounts are going to be closed down. And you can see that they are saying maybe close to 70 million accounts may be blocked or locked down because of the NIN not being linked to the accounts. Now, that was huge. 70 million accounts.
It's much. I hope my account don't fall inside the 70 million.
Out of 200 plus million people, 70 million is huge.
It is huge, actually. Honestly, it's a large number. And to think that it's not just, the people that...
Stop saying your account. If you know you're sure, better start packing whatever you have there. and then look for another alternative.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Okay, so
but I hope I get time, honestly, to go to the bank and do the necessary thing, because we all know that it's for the better, of the country, the betterment of the country, that we're all doing this. So, of course. All right, and let's move on. Are you done with the
no. So yeah, we have more stories. I developed cancer on my legs after insect bite. Double amputee businessman. You can find that story on page 44.
What insect was that? I want to know, so that we can run away from that insect.
That's a sad one. That's if they are able to even know what insects bite.
Yeah, it's a lot of research.
That effect, yes. And that's a sad one. Losing both legs. It's really a tough one. I can imagine what he is going through. Costly fitness regime. Search for perfect body may lead to grave. You can find our story on page 5. Now, for those that want to go for cosmetic surgeries, always searching for that perfect body shape. Yeah. So that's.
Are you advocating for that?
I'm not advocating, but a lot of people have actually lost their lives,
Yes.
Doing this. I just feel, however God created you, He knows what He's doing. He created you that way. You don't need to change anything. You're perfect the way He wants to see you, and then everyone should see you and appreciate you for who you are. It doesn't really matter what you look like.
Indeed.
At the end of the day, everyone is beautiful and handsome.
True.
So.
True.
There's no need to please
all about
people.
The self-esteem.
Exactly. But then for some
people tend to push. I saw people on social media hitting a certain celebrity that has not had a body work done.
Can you imagine?
And under the comments, some were saying, you people are saying you don't like the fake. But then you keep insulting, and degrading the real.
Because you keep seeing videos, people doing vox pops on the street and asking, do you like natural or cosmetic surgery? And everybody will say natural. Exactly. And yet you still go, trolling those people that do not do certain things.
For you.
We just don't know what people want. If you keep if you keep pleasing people and displeasing yourself, you find yourself in some kind of certain situation that it would be difficult for you to get out of.
Indeed.
We can't be intimidated. NLC replies tinubu. You can find that story on page 5. Monastro Trong CC Quadris Iwo resident Adeleke entertainers grieve. You can find that story on page 18. So yeah, that's it for the punch and this morning.
Yes,
and then with this, I think we can go on a short break. When we come back, it's going to be the time for the phone line discussions that we always look up to. I know, Sumaya, you can't wait, because that's one of the most exciting segments for you. There's this glow that comes with it all the time. So yeah, that's your turn. So yeah, join us again after this break.
When a situation where you find that they look like the same,
not necessarily tribal or regional.
I have said that.
TV. My name is Ahmed Mohammed Bello, and I'm going to be taking you through my journey as an artist.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Now, we'll head on, of course, to open the phone line. But before that, let's, walk you through what we're going to be talking about today. So today we'll be talking about electricity situation in the country. Or in your area, it's something that you can relate with. The hot weather in Nigeria can indeed be challenging, especially when coupled with a lack of electricity. The combination of hot weather and a lack of electricity can significantly impact livelihoods in various ways. It can hinder about productivity in sectors with like agriculture and manufacturing, where reliable electricity is crucial for irrigation, processing, and other operations. Additionally, it can affect the health and well-being, leading to discomfort, the health, heat-related illnesses rather, and even reduce access to medical care if facilities are affected. We've seen situations like that. I think we did a report from Bauchi or Gombe, I can't remember certainly, where a lot of people, were talking about, yes, the FCT and medical expert health practitioners were complaining about the lack of light, in the hospitals and how it's affecting them, and some surgeries are even done, without electricity, which is worrisome. So furthermore, unreliable power can disrupt businesses, leading to financial losses and reduce economic growth. Several studies have shown that heat could also lead to preterm birth and stillbirth for pregnant women exposed to extreme heat. The NIMET also added that dehydration could also cause fainting, chickenpox disease, measles, the heat rash, weakness of the body, slight fever, dry lips, heat-related illnesses, respiratory issues, and increased vulnerability to chronic conditions. A really terrible, list of worrisome diseases. But then before we open the phone line, let's take a look at what Ibrahim Ismail has for us. Stay with us.
As Thursday afternoon temperatures in Abuja soared beyond 35 degrees Celsius, the unforgiving heat wave spared no one. However, what exacerbates the situation further is the inability of residents to utilize cooling fans and air conditioners, all due to the erratic power supply plaguing the city.
Now we're looking at this weather, there's no light, you have newborn babies, you have mothers with children. How do they cope at night? For those who don't have generating set, for those who even when they do have the generating set, they don't have money to buy fuel. Because are you going to think of fueling or food to put on the table for your children to eat? So it's been very difficult, but that's just reality.
There's no stable light, and coupled with the heat, in fact, I and my family, we are unable to cope with it. Okay, and because of the poor supply of electricity, to get a fuel is not even easy. As you can see, I came to get a supplement. I couldn't get children. I have to be served with a hot drink because the light is not there. Okay, and the tariff, the worst aspect of it is that the tariff is even increasing every day.
The erratic power supply in the Federal Capital Territory is a source of concern for all residents. As the fasting period for the holy month of Ramadan approaches, Muslim faithful express apprehension that if the issue is not properly addressed, it will exacerbate hardships for families. This underscores the significant humanitarian ramifications stemming from the unreliable electricity services in the country.
Fasting is fast approach. Without light, we cannot cope up with this hot weather. So please and please, in this hot weather now, around everywhere you go now, the weather is very harsh. It's not friendly at all. So for that, in that case, we are pleading to the authority to help us to make a constant power supply for us.
One can cook when there is electricity, but without it, one cannot cook food to break the fast or even get cold water. It will be difficult. Meanwhile, the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company has attributed the ongoing power outage in the city to a fault affecting the supply feeder and a recent attack by vandals on transmission lines. However, residents are urging the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Nyesom Wike, to intervene and address the persistent issue of erratic power supply, which continues to take a toll on the residents. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
I mean, he made mention in the report of the Ramadan coming and how people, would be able to cope with the heat. People are restless. I mean, even when you say, I have AC in the house, the air condition, exactly. And when there is fun, they do this. Like yesterday, we experienced it back and forth in my area, where lights would come and then just about 2 minutes to 5 minutes, it would go off, and then after about 2-3 minutes, it comes back.
I'm like, what's happening everywhere? Because that has happened to us as well. Sometimes they will just take it for more than 2-3 hours, even in the city center, and then it sometimes we go all through without light. And Sumaya, it's not just about. I have actually had an encounter with a couple of people, that said in their area it's been 1 week. There has not been light and they have not been able to pump water. You know, so you know, you need the light to pump water to use. So imagine no electricity, no water, the heat, the weather is hot, everything is just there, and people are getting more frustrated with the economic hardship, and then all this is happening. You know, so imagine if you made food, and you're trying to preserve for the next day. You know what happens when there's no electricity?
Days,
exactly.
yes.
Because
it's really a sad
you know, some
situation,
people will make a certain quantity just so that they can preserve it for the next day, maybe to eat for breakfast or something. And then
not even that.
no
Have you forgotten that we women tend to do a week-long food?
Well, you know, prepare different soup
soups
and what have you. So if you don't put it in the refrigerator for it to get blocked, so the ice on it can preserve it until maybe light is back, because there are certain gadgets or that generators can't accommodate.
Yes, of course.
Solar can't accommodate. You know, so people need to aside from the light not being consistent, they need to find ways to improvise for
and when
for
it
them
comes to improvising, the only option is the generator.
either sleep outside or on a generator.
In this heat,
with this insecurity, you know, there are 20 years back, people could actually sleep out.
Yeah,
you know,
but even
in
with
their
the
compounds
sleeping
and
out,
what
you
have
could
you.
get stink by a scorpion.
Well, it depends on how the compound is.
Too.
No, it depends on how the compound is. Yeah, that's what
Indeed.
I'm saying. You know, some of these things come out when there's the weather is.
They get restless too.
You know, exactly.
But
So,
anyways,
then-
we would want to hear from you, you know, on all of this. What is happening in your area? Is yours different, you know? And we're hoping that, of course, this conversation will get to the necessary people that would be able to fix these issues. Most people can relate with that. So the numbers will be displayed on your TV screen. You can go ahead and call this number to give us your contribution on, and also you can send a WhatsApp message via that same number. Please make sure you include your name and where you're sending the message from. And if you're calling, also stay away from your TV set or tone down the volume. That way we can hear from you on this matter. Electricity, how is it working in your area? How would you say, you know, that whole situation? Now, I can relate, Fatih can relate, but from your own area, is it different? Are you having,
it's
you
possible
know,
that some
power,
areas,
good power?
You know, this is still within the FCT. The person I was telling you that was telling me yesterday in Kurudu. You know, so they're saying there's no light for a whole week, no water. You know, I just imagine how would you cope, you know, with taking your bath, for those that will use water to perform ablution, you know, that you want to cook, you want to wash your clothes. You know, all this, you need water to do it, and you need the electricity to pump water. So if there's no electricity, people are actually going through a lot, because
it makes life
there are
more
people,
harder.
Yes, you know, there are people that cannot even take their bath with cold water. They need hot
Indeed.
water to do that. So,
All right, we have a first caller here. Good morning. Good morning. Are you with us? All right, I think we lost that call. Please go ahead and call us and stay away from your TV set. Turn down the volume so we can hear from you. If you don't want to call, which is fine, send message to
we
WhatsApp.
have another
All right,
caller.
good morning.
Hello.
hello, good morning.
Good morning to women in the studio.
Thank you. Your name and location, please.
Yeah, my name is Ali Umar Shamati, calling from Nasarawa State.
Okay, Aliu, thank you so much for joining. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to ask to electricity. You see, electricity is life as far as Nigeria is concerned, because it is through the electricity common man can be able to feed himself. For instance, people that are selling water, ice block, and the rest. So without the electricity, they cannot get those things, and they cannot even survive. So as I'm speaking to in my area in Akonga, Nasarawa State, we are suffering of electricity. So I'm advising the federal government to boost out the megawatt so that every Nigerian can benefit this electricity nationwide. This is my call this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Aliu.
Thank you, Aliu, for that.
Is saying the government should do something. Yeah, I totally agree.
And from what he's saying now, he's explaining that even we in FCC that were complaining about the erratic, you know, the epileptic power, you know, them in all the states are experiencing worse. But then Aliu, calling on federal governments alone shouldn't be. Also call on state governments to make their own part. All right, we have another caller. Good morning. Are you with us?
Yeah, so
Yes.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Your name and location, please.
my name is Solomon Olivoda. I'm calling from Delta State.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us from Delta. So go ahead with your thoughts.
About the situation of the light.
Go ahead.
What we are passing through in Delta, mostly the area.
Are you still with us?
We don't receive the light again.
Okay. Can you come? Just take a step back, please, because I think we lost connection for a bit.
I think. Can you call us back? Okay.
The heat is too much for the area we are now. And at the same time, there's no light.
That's really sad. In Delta. I wish I could even get where exactly you're calling from.
Where exactly are you calling us from? The area in Delta?
We're from Delta State.
Okay.
Thank you so much, for that contribution as well. We appreciate your calling. I mean, the heat this year is something else, and the NIMET has already warned us that there would be this heat. But then the fear, of course, is the lack of electricity, and we've seen the federal government, talk with the state governments on how the state can generate their own power. Where if other states are not able to, then they can link up with the states that do, and it would be easier. So it's still in process. But before then, what is
other
majors?
Now? Yes,
I mean, this is 2024.
I just quickly went back to the Nation when I read out, and they said electricity, FG pays $120 million out of 1.3 billion gas debt. Now, see, that's even huge, already. So, and then we still don't have electricity, and you still are paying this debt, and Nigerians are asking questions of what is really happening, subsidy. Because this is what has been the electricity. I think with every regime, it's one of the major problems.
And it's something that they haven't been able to crack.
Exactly.
That it's back and forth. It's going back. Sometimes we take like 2 steps forward, and then we take back. About 5 steps backwards. And then the insecurity also is affecting that.
Most times the electricity situation comes when the rainy season is approaching, the weather is hot, when that climate change has occurred, especially when the weather is becoming more hot. People sweating, and it brings some
I shouldn't
illnesses.
be laughing, but the picture she's just describing. I mean, normally
from Ibrahim's report, if you remember what the other guy said, they are newborn babies. Sumaya, it's not just about us. The hot weather is going to affect so many people, and then imagine these children, these newborn babies with the heat.
It's really sad. All right, we have another caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Sumaya and Fatima.
Good morning. Is that Mohammed Modibo?
Yes, Mohammed Modibo, and I'm calling from Gombe.
It's good to have you this morning. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Thank you very much for having me on the program this beautiful morning of today.
Of course.
The issue of electric power supply that is happening these days in our country, so to speak, is a sad and unfortunate development. The situation has deteriorated beyond one's imagination. The weather has changed. There is heat. And amid this economic hardship that Nigerians are experiencing, skyrocketing prices of goods and services like a wildfire. Yet, we are also being bedeviled with the issue of electric power supply. And we have to know that we can never get it right in terms of economic development with electric power supply. If we are talking about, calling the attention of the Nigerian people to go back into farming, we are calling for, mechanized farming. We should know that mechanized farming cannot be successful and achievable with epileptic power supply. And this issue of epileptic power supply is not only peculiar to Nigeria, being the giant of African continent. It is the hallmark of African nations. Why is this thing happening in our country? And yet, we did not even come out from the mess of fuel subsidy removal. The government is proposing to remove electricity tariff to electricity subsidy. So the government must know that these economic reforms must be done gradually. Nigeria should not be rushed into, economic policies that we have implemented so far, and they are yet to, produce any fruitful result to Nigerians. Nigerians are living in this economic hopelessness because the economic policies so far being implemented have not yielded the needed result. They are making lives becoming increasingly difficult for Nigerians. Nigerians have not started seeing the benefit of these economic policies we are taking, and yet we want to also remove the electricity tariff. So we should know that reforms should be taken gradually, and we have to ensure that we are doing things in accordance with the realities of our popularity. Many small-scale businesses have crumbled because of these epileptic power issues. And we know the kind of economy that we are dealing with. It is a fragile economy that is comatose, where economic activities are not thriving, flourishing, where many local industries have crumbled. So if we want to get it right, the government must rise and brace up to the occasion, must sanitize the power sector, and ensure that the right thing is being done. And anybody who is caught trying to sabotage the effort of government must be brought to book, no matter how highly placed he is. That is the only way for us to get out of this mess. That is my little take. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you so much, Muhammad Modibo, as usual.
Have a productive discussion.
Thank you so much. As usual, he never disappoints. But one thing I would hold on to, that he made mention on, is sanitizing the power sector. At some point, it crossed my mind that, the power sector, the distribution company, the discos are playing with us because that they printed out names.
Yes.
They printed out names of people that have been owing them, the tariff money. We're talking about even Aso Villa, even the defense, so a lot of people like that. So I feel like that's a kind of way of just getting us irritated with the whole thing. But I know they would not get that petty. This is business for the Gencos and the Discos. So transmission is for the federal government. But then all of these things, it's definitely not looking good for us. All right, we have another caller there. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Your name and location, please.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Olatunde Ojumayo.
Okay, thank you for joining us. Where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm calling from Lokoja, Kogi State.
Okay,
I'm a journalist like you anyway.
Okay.
Sorry?
I'm a journalist like you people.
Oh, okay. It's good to have you on board. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Seriously, I must say a big thank you to Trust TV for coming up with this topic. We all know that the issue of epileptic power supply has been a major problem for us Nigerians. And here in Kogi State, Lokoja precisely, some parts has always been faced with blackouts. And there have been a lot of internal sabotage by some workers of the distribution companies. And let me give an example. Where I'm staying here in Lokoja, we have come to understand that there are some workers of the AEDC who are being alleged on weekly basis of coming to a particular community to get returns. And you know what it means. What is the word get returns? Come in the guise of trying to serve summer and every of their presence in that community to at least do anything on the transformer. They will ensure that they collect money. And it now becomes a ritual. And something happened recently that we were really shocked, my sisters in the studio. One of the staff allegedly came again as usual with his normal distance. Only God knows there was light. Nothing was happening to the area in terms of supply of electricity. Lord and behold, there was lights went off. I tell you that for the past 1 month right now, this place has been in blackout. I was now asking myself, is it that these guys just intentionally want to be taking things on we Nigerians in the midst of this hardship? We are battling with issue of the economy. We are battling with the issue of electricity. We are also battling with the issue of internal sabotage from also some staff of the distribution company. So, in summary, I think a lot is needed to be done to correct these anomalies. It's a systemic problem. And it is high time the government hold the bull by the horn. Whoever that is found culpable, because they know what is happening. They are just trying to cause intentional hardship on we the innocent Nigerians. It is hard to pay school fees right now. It is hard to pay other bills. There are many things going on in the country. Why are we still inflicting more pains on ourselves? So, as I said, I must commend Trust TV for this, and I believe that if Trust TV opens the door for all Nigerians to express their view, definitely you know that the distribution company, even the government, have a lot to let Nigerians.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Olutokumbo, if I remember the name right. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you.
I mean, he went deep with his own experience from their area of people. And this is why, everybody is asking, why are some people not having their own meters? Because at the end of the meter would,
But then, they increased the tariff as well, even though it hasn't been implemented already twice this year. Even though it hasn't been put to action. But then, I was reading, WhatsApp messages that have been coming through, just so I can, when we display them, I'll be able to convey. Yes, so let's take one WhatsApp message. Good morning. Okay, my name is Oladele Moruf Badmos from Osun State. Good morning. Power supply situation here is nothing to write home about. It's so bad here. Me and my family used to shower twice at night. Government should please do something.
We can relate. If people in the FCT and major cities like Lagos are also complaining about power supply, then I cannot imagine other states, and it's really a sad situation. I mean, hearing from our previous caller, talking about what is happening in Lokoja as well, and Lokoja is the state capital. So if it's even happening there, then imagine
it's even happening here in the FCT as well.
Exactly.
So it's everywhere. It's not like there are certain states. Yeah, there are actually good stories here, though. There's a state I wouldn't mention until it's displayed that has said something good about the light supply in their state.
I can't wait. I mean, if it's happening, then we have to give the governors and other people they're doing that kudos for what they're doing, because a lot of things are happening. I mean, we tend to see these things happen, Fatima, all the time. We tend to see electricity, epilepsy happening. But then we had on this couch someone from the AEDC, and then he explained. He said he's been working there for the longest time.
I know the person you're talking about.
And he made
a barrister.
Exactly, and he made mention of the sabotage happening, where people feel entitled not to pay off, the money.
Yeah, but then there are people saying they should. Yeah, exactly. They shouldn't pay for services that hasn't been rendered.
But people are still
paying for. You're paying for darkness as well, because you pay and you still don't get what you're paying for.
But what he made mention was that they call them the high stake areas. Even in the FCT, there are places that get power supply more than the other axis, the outskirts of Abuja. So he is saying those people, even though they go out of their way to make light available to them, thinking, okay, these people are rich and they can pay.
People.
Exactly. But then they are not doing it. So it's making them, it's making life difficult for them to even transmit and distribute, averagely.
Oh, you have no idea the kind of messages that are coming in.
I cannot wait. Okay, can we just head on to it already? Because I want to hear, exactly what people are saying.
There's this message also. So good morning. The issue of electricity in Kaduna is very poor in Chukun local government here in Marabari, Kaduna, from Duza Sunday Kakura.
Oh my God. I mean, Chukun local government has been a place that, we feel for, because insecurity has eaten deep. So one thing, of course, that would definitely advocate, it's also for you people to have light. So I feel for you. Honestly, I hope that the
government
government
needs to
would
invest more on, and improve on efficient, sources such as solar, wind power to provide, more energy access for people.
Energy has always been a problem for Nigeria. I don't know why we are not moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. So let's take a look at another message. Good morning to you all fabulous women in the studio. Thank you so much. Electricity is as bad as rotten eggs in Sokoto town. We used to have electricity for about 4 to 5 hours some months back, but at present, the electricity supply is as low as turning down the volume of a TV set. Like this person is a script writer. I can see that. We pay for electricity not consumed. How long will this last? One cannot say. Peters from Sokoto.
Oh my God! Thank you so much, Peter.
Associating it to rotten eggs and
exactly right from the beginning when he made mention,
turning down the volume of a TV set.
Couldn't hold back my laugh. But then it's a serious issue. But at the end of the day, we have to give Nigerians kudos for always trying to find a way to make us laugh. But this is why Ghanaians make fun of us. They would say, okay, we pride ourselves as giant of Africa, but then the power supply is something they always use to shade us, all the time. They poke us with that. And we haven't found it right. So I am hoping with this new policy, they'll be able to do that. But then back to what I think Olu Tokunbo said. He said there should be transparency. I think Muhammad Modibo made mention of that. Hold these people accountable. There are people that want to sabotage, the economy, and it's not
working. I was trying to say, let's take a look at this message. Even though I was trying to say, don't forget other neighboring countries that we used to supply lights.
Exactly.
Good morning, ladies in the studio. I'm Musa Jafet from Gombe State. In terms of electricity down here in Gombe South, we are really enjoying light. Kudos to Honorable Banye for providing a stable electricity. We thank him. Gombe South are enjoying electricity. Now, that's the success story I was telling you about.
And it's good to hear success stories because it would motivate others. Now, this is what I want to know. Just like we're giving kudos to, the local government chairman or, the representative there, then that we have to hold all of them accountable. Because when it comes to power supply and every other thing in the country, we can't keep saying the president,
Because there are people, managing this sector.
Yes, he's not doing it alone. He's just giving the directive, and there are things that he has to liaise. So we need to hold our government,
if he's not doing it well, certainly.
Exactly. We need to hold our senators.
Need people. You have people you're working with. Everyone is assigned a duty to deliver. You have your duty. I have my duty. Every other person has their duty. So if you're not delivering, you should be accounted for not
the
delivering.
KPI, Mr. President. Let's go back there. Let's go back there.
So let's go back to the drawing board, like Modibo will always say. It's really important to look back at, and see what has been done before and what should be done now.
All right. So we have another call. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you. Your name and location, please.
In the studio. How is everybody?
We are all fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your name and location.
How is the family?
Fine, thank you so much. Please, can you tone down the volume of your TV a bit?
From Darazo Local Government Bauchi State.
Say that again.
My name is Pastor Isaac calling from Darazo Local Government Bauchi State.
It's good to have you, Pastor Isaac. So much. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Actually, what you are saying is right. There people have made a good contribution. Here in Darazo, now they give us light since yesterday, 10 p.m. So, because of the sea that month has come to an end, light is still there, but we don't know when they take it, maybe till after 2 weeks. Or, if you see they give us light, they rather see the special advisor to Mr. President is around in politics and in the governmental, this thing is around. If it is around, they will give us light. But if it's not around, so we forget. We ever do 3 months without no light. Actually, people are saying whether Mr. President, I won't say anything concerning Mr. President. I'm giving him advance of 1 year or 1 year and a half when he reach in the office to see whether he can do or not before I comment in his government. Thank you. I wish you the best.
Thank you,
Thank you so much, Pastor. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so much,
Pastor
Isaac, for that contribution. He got me cracking up, even though we talk on serious
it's
issues.
serious issue, but then Nigerians will always find joy in whatever situation.
But it's so sad, Fatima, where people would literally know the difference when there is power. Like people would say, okay, they're giving us power because it's the end of the month and you would want to come and get the bill.
Why is it always like this when it's almost rainy season and it's always coming from the beginning of every year?
There've been an excuse of saying when it's hot, then I think the dams are dry a bit and all that. They've explained that portion. But then knowing a problem is the good.
Find solutions.
Exactly. It's halfway through the problem.
Before it comes.
And we have this for the longest time. I mean, we grew up in this same situation like this. And honestly, there hasn't been progress because even until now, there are places that do not even have power supply at all. Imagine someone saying 3 months without power supply.
Yeah. But, at the same time, I won't say it's only Nigeria. The messages that are coming in, I'm even scared to read some of them. You can just not imagine what message is,
this is something that people are really relating to, and it's affecting everything.
I wanted to talk about blackouts. When you travel out of the country, you see stable lights until you come back and you'll be waiting to see when will they take this light? When will they take this light? Because you forget that you are not even in Nigeria anymore or your own country. It happens in every country, but then other countries, when you see blackout, it goes general. Totally blackout in the
and there is always a warning.
There is always a warning for it. For everything they will do that will affect the citizens, they always give warnings. If they are going to block roads, they're going to give warnings. If they're going to cut lights, they're going to give warnings. If they're going to cut water supply, they're going to give warnings. Everything, you prepare your people and give time for them to prepare themselves to know that, okay, mentally, there's not going to be life for 1 week. There's not going to be life for a couple of days. There will not be water supply for a couple of days. So they can start making preservations to keep water, to find ways to, maybe get their solars charged up.
I can't wait for us to get there, Fatima, because it's been the same story for us for the longest time. Two the first basic amenities that Nigerians are asking for is water and power. The two basic ones. Then security, the third one. Do we even need to beg for security? Water and power should be the basic thing everybody should have because it affects everything. I have seen, businesses collapse because they don't have it. We're talking about people that there is no business that doesn't even involve electricity because even if you're doing online vendor shopping kind of thing, you still need to keep your gadget, fully charged. So a lot of these situations is really happening and it's not looking good for the country. It's really, really irritating at this time where people need to pay double or triple or even 4 times before they get what they want. Due to everything that is increasing, and then the power
pay
sector
for services that they don't get to consume. That's what I'm saying. Even with issues with some of the decoders that we recharge towards certain stations. Someone was making a recommendation that when you pay for a month and you're not watching, it shows them there that it's not being used. Cut it down until when the person comes back. You can put a stop to it and then let the person come back and enjoy what they paid for. But then when you're not in your house, you paid for a month. It's
gone. It's gone. It all boils back to regulations because we know it's something that it could be possible.
But then I understand it's market, so they wouldn't want it to stop.
Of course.
So that's how they make their money. They wouldn't want it to stop. But it's something you have to find a way to make life easy, livelihood for your citizens, because that's why you are. That's why you've been voted. They believe in you. They believe you can do this. And that's why they casted their votes and trusted you.
And would always hold Mr. President for his word. Don't pity me. So we are not pitying you, Mr. President.
We're not pitying him.
That's why we are on your neck.
Pitying his ministers and his governors. I love the fact that he keeps, having meetings now and then to see what is happening, getting things together and stuff. So
all right, we have another caller. Good morning.
Caller.
Hello.
Yeah. Good morning. Your name and location, please.
Okay. Tochukwu. From Makodi.
Tochukwu from where, please?
Makodi.
Makodi. Thank you so much for joining us. Please go ahead.
Okay. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Concerning this issue.
Tochukwu, are you with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Go ahead, please.
Light. Thing is big.
Can you speak a bit louder because
his network is
and the
not
network is
stable.
yes.
Do call us back again, Tochukwu. Your network is not really stable. We still have messages, Sumaya. Can you see the tons of messages that are coming through?
It's good to have it, but I'm still waiting for a lady to say what is happening.
We don't have a lady for now.
It's Women's Month. I want to hear from you. How are the women coping? No. How are the women coping, Fatima? These are things that women can relate at home.
Taking care.
Yes, in the morning when you're fixing your children to school,
there's no light.
And there is no light. How are you coping with all of that? That's something I would want to hear, from you, and prepping at night before going to bed.
Should we take some messages? Can we have them displayed, or I should just read it out like that? Okay,
Let's go ahead with
Salam. I'm Sadiq. Salam, I'm Sadiq. What's stopping you from Azare, Bauchi State? We don't have issues with lights, but we are hoping the Jets company should keep it up because Ramadan is around the corner.
Oh, okay. I mean, that is good. We're so happy for you. I mean, Azare is one of the big, should I say, cities in Bauchi, and they are known for their names and businesses. So we are happy, glad for Azare people that are experiencing this in the middle of, the chaos happening in Nigeria.
Yeah. Yes, so let's take another message again. Joshua Onoja from Kefi, Nasarawa State, Sumaya, that's your state. We keep having different kinds of funds injected into the power sector for so long, since 1990, in billions, yet nothing to show, and the billing system keeps increasing on estimated billing customers. When you apply for prepared, they will ask you to pay between 70 to 100K, but then prepared meters are not being paid for now. They're being given
initially, right from the start. I mean, we've had AEDC come in here and they said you should not pay anything.
It's not being paid for, because I remember when we got.
But how many people got it for free?
Exactly, but then except they're using them, but they are not paying. So let's give them the credit for not because when you go there, they won't ask you to pay, except there are people that are selling it without them knowing, because you don't pay to get it. That's the thing.
All right,
I remember
I know people firsthand that are getting that.
That's what I'm saying. Then something is wrong somewhere, because it's not being paid for.
You go there, you go to the AEDC, and some people would ask you to pay.
That's the point that I'm making, Sumaya. But then, if the management will know that some people are collecting money, then there's
the management do know, and they're not doing anything about it.
Okay, so let's
just say it like that.
Let's take another message. Good morning. Niger State is supposed to be the power state. Unfortunately, we don't see the power. In Suleja, there are large areas without lights for months. ADC is killing small-scale businesses. Haruna Kaninko from Suleja.
Thank you, Haruna, for the message.
Yeah.
I mean, Niger State is another
power. Yeah.
Imagine being the state of minerals and you don't have minerals.
People are actually being funny at the same time, but then
no. I know he's not even being funny at all. Because I've visited the Suleja and I know how they suffer from electricity supply, considering that they are so close to the Federal Capital Territory. It's not even funny at all.
Their states are actually really close. Lokoja is also closer than even Niger State.
It's not even funny at all. You see these things and you keep wondering what is happening. Where is the development? I mean, from 2010, let's not even go far. From 2010 to 2023, it's like we're stuck in the same place. How can somebody not experience light for months? It's not even making sense again at all. And then with the people sabotaging these things, the whole thing boils back to corruption. There are people that are not being held accountable for what they are doing. And it's really sad.
That's why I'm telling you that about the meter that you're saying. That's why I told you, because I'm a witness to when they brought it, we didn't pay for it. So I know, that's why I'm saying. So if there are people that are being charged to pay for the prepared
huge
meter,
amount
then
of money.
there's a problem. And like he rightly said, they're charging within the range of 70, 100. Maybe yes, I don't know about it, but then maybe there is. We just need to find out if that is really going on. And then it's now left for the Minister of Power to, you know, to take a look into what is really happening, because Nigerians should be able to enjoy at least, you know, certain things that they are supposed to enjoy.
Exactly.
Give them the prepared meter, let them continue to buy the units themselves, you know. So I think it's better that way, because when they bring the prepared meter for it comes with certain amount of units in it, and so when you consume that, the more you pay, the more they remove the units that it came with. That's the only thing that I can remember. But if people are selling it, then something is wrong. You need to go and say, no, I'm supposed to have this meter for free, but not to pay for it. Exactly.
Fatima, for a minute, I would ask you, are you just coming into the country recently? Because these are things that are clearly happening.
Why are you being dramatic?
No. These are clearly things that are happening. She said, if it's happening, then, I mean, there should be. It is happening. Yeah, literally. We just saw somebody say, it is happening on a daily basis. There are a lot of people that don't even know that it is free. And hence, this is the reason why we're doing this.
But at least now they know.
Exactly.
So they can fight for it.
And when you say fighting for it, people have gotten so much power. There's something about Nigerians. We get intoxicated with power that...
Exactly.
You can
tend to overuse it.
Typical example, you can go to the bank and then the banker that is supposed to serve you, because you're the banker will talk rudely to you. You go to filling stations, the attendant will talk rudely to you. So all of these things are happening, and that's the same thing when it goes to AEDC
you know,
also.
certain things, when you see certain people behaving in a certain way, you know, frustration is there.
Yes, but then that's why it's always good to just separate your work and personal
I didn't want to laugh, but you wanted to, so I had to hold back my own laugh. So yeah.
So
I would love for us to take more messages, because Sumaya, like, we have tons of messages. I know we may not be able to take all of them.
Yes, we definitely
and we
will
are
not
going
be able to because of time.
Okay, now let's take a look at this one. Good morning. My name is Grateful. My name is Grateful. Texting from Owo, Ondo State.
You have a beautiful name.
The PHCN, it's been long I heard that name, has turned electricity to a form of extorting money from us. We only get light at the end of the month when they are coming to get the light bills. It's so painful that as a student, I pay light bills and end up fetching water from well because no light to pump water, spending money on medications because of exposure to mosquitoes while sleeping outside due to excessive heat. So, you know, like we rightly said, electricity, lack of electricity, and this hot weather, when you know, it affects everything, because you need light to blend what you want to use to cook. You need light to iron what you want to wear to go to work. You need light to prepare, pump water, everything.
There is this
Charge your
elephant
phone
in the room, Fatima, that we're not even addressing. Nigeria has become a country where everybody now, because we do not have the basic amenities like water, people now have to have what is it called? There's the pumping machine, you know, for water. Borehole. People are using borehole these days. Like, it's become normal. Borehole has become normal in the country. People are not even longer pressuring the government saying, okay, we need water anymore, because a lot of people have borehole, and for the rich people, they would just create a tap outside, you know, a tap head where community members can, you know, benefit from them. But then the government, even with what Nigerians are doing, not asking for the water part, the power part, they're not even delivering. And it is a really sad situation that this is the elephant in the room that needs to be addressed. It's not even funny anymore. People in Ondo and Bauchi are saying they go months, and then end of the month you come
even within the FCT, like I said, there are places that have not seen light for a month, 2 weeks, 1 week, and so on and so forth. So let's take a look at this message from His Royal Highness. You know, he sent this. He has sent a full biography, which we may not be able to read all. Good morning, Trust TV management and staff. Honestly, the situation is alarming. The evil of it is we will pay for darkness. Ideally, you don't have the money for service not rendered. But in Nigeria, we don't have respect for human rights, and systems shortchanging citizens is seen as normal. Charging citizens is seen as normal. I beg your pardon. This weather without light is like costing more pain to the citizens. I understand that the president has signed electricity bill, but our problem is implementing it to the latter. Finally, the electricity situation has affected our economic growth greatly. As a student of economic history, I bet you this topic matter has worsened our community growth. Now pure water is 50 naira in Nigeria per 1 because no light to pump water. The implication of this is the disease that will come the order of the day for at least privileged people that can't afford clean water. So yeah, when there's no clean water, when they can't pump water, they have to go to the rivers to fetch, and the river is a stagnant water where you can easily find diseases in such water that is just stagnant. In addition, providing citizens with clean water is a right, not privilege. Government should know this too. From His Royal Highness Muhammad
It is a right, not privilege. I mean, that is an amazing way to end that. But yes, boils back to what we're saying about people feeling high and mighty in their places of work. And it's because people can easily, step on the rights of the others without knowing. But then it's when their own right is being trampled on, that's when they would realize that, oh, yes, it's my right. So Nigerians don't even know their rights. Because the boards that should guide those rights are not sensitizing people and telling people
enlightenment.
You should know.
Every time I keep saying, like you said, sensitization matters. Enlightenment, create more avenues to enlighten people on how they can, prepare themselves for moments like this. Flood when the rainy season is approaching, when dry season is approaching, when the heat season is approaching. Enlighten people on what to do, what to expect, so that when their children are caught up with diseases that are being, coming into the state or where their vicinity.
We saw the Lassa fever outbreak.
Yes, okay. If it is hygiene, how do I go about cleaning my environment before the rainy season starts? Because there's a way that cholera can break out, and when you have a dirty environment, that happens. How will I take care of meningitis, measles when it comes, because it affects children? So they need to, there are people that don't know what they need to do. As a government, you need to find ways to sensitize your people and enlighten them on what to do, the measures they need to take when whether seasons like this are approaching.
We see individual or non-governmental bodies make that effort to sensitize people, but also when it comes to this, especially the power sector, people need to be sensitized about knowing their rights. Nigerians sometimes we have so much power. We can easily come out there and control the narrative, but we just sit down and make complaints, and we go to these people come to us, they take money from us. So we need to make people understand that it is your right. AEDC, I'm not going to pay for this transformer, what is it called again? Remind me, please. It just skipped my mind. The prepaid meter thing. I need to pay. I'm not going to pay for this. I am not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. Because if we don't know, then these people would easily come and extort from us. And then you still don't get paid.
That's why some people are saying they are being charged for
and that is extortion.
Meter. That's extortion.
And these people should be charged. These people should be charged for what they're doing. It's not even making sense anymore. You cannot not give me what I want and still expect me to pay for it. It's not even making sense. Make it make sense. So like the Gen Zs would say, make it make sense. So please, we need to go back, work on these things. Corruption, this is what we definitely call Mr. President's name. Please work on the corruption that is eating deep in, especially
every sector.
Especially the power sector at this point, because this is what people are going through, and it's not even funny at all. But then, I think we would have to take a pause here.
Yes, it's sad, I didn't want it to end.
We've gone almost an hour.
And yes, we got carried away, and people were calling. It's really fun. Like I rightly said, it's always that time that we'll always wait for, because we get to hear Nigerians calling us, talk to us about the topics that we choose. So it's good to have that interaction.
Of course.
We get more knowledge, they get more knowledge. So we listen to each other.
Trust TV always have that at the forefront, saying it's all about the viewers, it's all about humanity.
And we are happy, we appreciate the fact that they keep calling to say we are doing a good job. That's it's overwhelming, and it makes us feel that we are actually doing what is right
by the people. Indeed.
Yes.
So thank you so much for everyone that called. For those that network did not allow you to reach us, we appreciate you so much. For those of you that sent in your messages, we appreciate you also. And messages are long, so we for those that we are not able to read out, apologies, but please we can meet next week and we'll bring you another amazing topic that would get to talk about. So make sure you try reaching us there. But then the show, of course, we still have about minutes left, so we'll come back after the break and the show would continue. So stay with us.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is Daybreak Extra coming to you from our studios here in Abuja. Well, the topic that we're going to discuss today is not like the usual, topic or, activity that Sumaya, special effects makeup. What do you think about it?
I think it's grossy, it's creative, it's ewy, raunchy. And
why did you have to say grossy? you're just being dramatic today. I don't know what's wrong with you.
But it is lovely. I mean, I see people do things and I'm like, how did you come up?
Exactly.
You have to have no disrespect, but you have to have a sick mind to do that kind of magic.
No. So now you learn it. Okay. So let's go into this. Okay. So special effects makeup, often abbreviated as SFX, is the art of using prosthetics, cosmetics, and other materials to create realistic illusions on actors or models. It also has a way of captivating blend of artistry and technical skills, where artists use a range of tools and techniques to alter appearances and evoke emotions. So in this sense, we are talking about creating, scenes, maybe accident scenes, maybe wounds, maybe gunshots, and what have you. So that evokes emotions, and it changes, it alters the appearance of a person. From aging character to crafting or otherworldly creatures, SFX makeup artists possess the ability to transport audience to fantastical realm and bring stories to vivid life. Through the careful application of prosthetics, paints, and other materials, they can seamlessly integrate their creations into the narrative fabric of filming, television, and beyond. Now joining us via Zoom from Lagos is Rhoda Sophie Barnabas. She is a special effects makeup artist. Hi, Sophie. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. From my opening, I'm sure you were hearing when I was saying makeup, special effect makeup is not like every other makeup that we get to do, paint our faces like we are carrying now. It's totally different from what we see. Please walk us through how, you found yourself in this journey of, this makeup, special makeup artist, special effects, special makeup artist as you are.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I wasn't a special effects artist at first. I was a makeup artist, like the beauty, glam, and every other thing. So I got an opportunity in working with a movie production, whereby we carry out makeup for actors, actresses, and along the line, we started looking for a special effects artist. And at that point, I was like, I wish I knew this, because if there's anything I love is to learn more. I am open to learning at any time, any day. So I was more interested. I was triggered. I was like, I should be able to do something about this. And I was there as a makeup artist, and I brought in a special effects artist as well. And then when I was actually like an assistant to her then. So I watched what she did and every other thing. I was like, as a makeup artist, I could do this. Like, I can do this. It has to go it works line in line with hand in hand with makeup artists for beauty glam. And you as a makeup artist, as a beauty glam makeup artist, you should be able to carry out some, just play around your colors, your eyeshadow, foundation, just play around, use it to play around. And when I saw what she did with some colors around a wound and all that, I was like, wow, why not just go into this? You already have an idea, so why not just go into this? So I actually called a friend and she linked me up with an institute where I was able to
All right.
stay and learn
Sophie, it's a beautiful picture you painted there. But then, even though special effects is quite a unique art, I mean, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how you transition from a makeup artist, we painting to look all fine, to you painting people into looking glossy and all that, bringing things to life that we know on a normal day it happens, it becomes scary, but you're painting something that is unreal and picturing it and putting it in a way that it will look so real and believable. So can you walk us through, I mean, we're looking at some of your videos, some of your work rather, that you've done. And even though we had to blur it because of the effect, it's amazing how these things work. So can you walk us through the different techniques, that you use in order to create all of this?
Okay, so like you rightly say, Mrs. Fatima, like you rightly said, prosthetics are actually used during these procedures, most especially when it comes to trying to get a scar, a wound, or a rotting wound. Prosthetics and chemicals are actually needed in this field, in this aspect. So one of the things that it's actually okay, like it's mostly required of us is those prosthetics, those chemicals, those cosmetics. As as funny as it may sound, most of these foundations we rub on our face, the eyeshadows, and it actually goes a long way during SFX. Actually, it goes a long way during SFX, and most of these things are things we use. Those are the things we use during this. And let me just walk you down the blood aspect. Let me just see the blood aspect. This blood aspect, most people see it as most people see it and they'll be like, wow, is this a real blood? Is this? But sometimes when you look at it, it's not actually real, but these are items that are in your kitchen. These are items that in your kitchen you use. And it's as funny as it may sound, as little as foster class for baking, you can use it.
Interesting.
To get the blood effect. Yeah,
do you use
can
colors,
use it to get. So most of the things you have in
that
your
you can
kitchen, most
actually
of the
get,
things you have
maybe
around
red,
you
pink,
can
whatever.
actually
How do you get to mix the color for the blood? Because it really looks like real blood, Because I remember when I was trying to blur the videos and people were thinking it's actually a real wound and that's actually real blood. So how do you achieve that? How do you get the texture, to even make it exactly, to make it even look like blood and how thick blood looks like? How do you get that mixture?
Okay, so we have so many ways you can actually achieve that. But first of all, let me just say, like I said, you use most of the things in your kitchen, like the foster class, and as well you have money fresh. You have money fresh. So mixing those two items is be able to achieve the blood effect, which is the red. Don't forget we have different colors of blood. We have the dark blood, we have the red cell blood, and I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but actually, for the red blood, you actually need the foster class, which is the red, and you need the money first. And this can only be used outwards. You can't use it on the mouth. But if you're going for something that has to be taken in, then you go with the foster class. That's when you are actually using items from your household. Yeah.
All right. I mean, based on your work, we've seen that you've worked with on a lot of movie sets, which I mean, that is the major employer for special effects artists. So, how do you collaborate with these people, I mean the directors, the actors, in order to make your work easy and bring that particular story and character to life?
Okay, so I will say, if there's anything anyone actually needs when working in an environment that is full of people, different categories of people, it's just to be yourself and be humble. If there's anything that has gotten me this far away, being myself and being humble, not wanting to outshine people or think I know is better. Now, when a script is given to me, or when I get into a collaboration with a production, and I get to meet the producer, I get to meet the director, I actually go through my script months or days before going on set. So getting there, I'm actually working hand in hand. Director, what do you want? What do you want? How are you looking at this? What do you want? And we work with pictures as well. Now, it's more like they are giving me a picture of what they are looking at. When it comes to a particular script, they might say, okay, we're looking at, let me say, like a tab at the chest, where the knife is still there, and we just want to see it bloody and all that. And then within me, I'll be like, okay, let me show you some pictures, or do you have pictures? That goes a long way, because already we now have a picture of what we are looking at and what they want in their movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So working hand in hand with them actually helps, and listening to them, what they want, what they are looking at, and the pictures they want, because it's actually bringing pictures to life, imagination rather to life.
Okay, Sophie, you know, there are challenges in everything that we do, you know, with our careers and whatever we tend to put out there. So I know that what you're doing, you have challenges that you have faced, and also other special effect makeup artists that have been facing. How do you overcome some of the challenges that you face, especially when you're in a movie set?
Okay, I will. First of all, I would say I run to God. Actually, I pray. I run to God. There are days where I cry out my eyes. I think I've been in a state whereby I cried my eyes throughout the day, because it was more like I wasn't able to deliver what they wanted, and they were all at me. And you could just imagine that point. It's not like you didn't learn this. It's not like you don't know this. But there are times whereby these things you've been doing, at some point it just flop, and you just be like, God, what is happening? What is happening? And if there's anything that has kept me moving, was knowing the fact that I am from somewhere and I need to go back to my roots and pray to God for Him to be able to give me the direction. And at that point, when things like that comes up, I just go back, even though I end up crying in the middle of it. I just go back and pray and ask God for His direction. Yeah, and after that, I come back being calm, because a calm spirit and a calm mind actually goes a long way in things like that. So when I get back, I'm just actually calm, refreshed, and putting one, two, I'm already gone. I'm already picking up. So that's how I actually overcome challenges most times, and going back to my drawing board as well.
Your life seems interesting, honestly. I mean, for anybody that appreciates art, what you're saying is something people can relate with the struggles. But then let's talk about your, inspiration, where it comes from, and updates. One thing when it comes to every craft is you have to keep yourself up to date on things happening. So how are you able to, move past situations where your employer or your contractor would tell you, this is what I want, and you're not able to deliver? Do you go back to say, okay, let me go and update myself on a lot of things happening? How are you able to get that?
Yeah, I actually go back to update myself on things happening. But again, at that point, you don't just rush back to update yourself, leaving the set, because at that point they need you there. So the only thing that happens is let me say, because we have thing by thing that needs to be done. And most of the times they don't start from scene one, they don't start from scene two, they bring most of the scene at the back, most of like scene 20, scene 30 and all that, they bring it to the front. Those are the things we start with. So when it comes to that point where I'm not able to deliver at that point on set, I actually tell them, please can I just get tomorrow, I'm going to deliver this. And immediately I put my head and I wrap things up and I deliver the next day. But the thing is, in a point where we don't have luxury of time for me to deliver the next day also, what I do is I have to go back, give me some minutes just for me to be able to calm my head and put, because it's actually a creative stuff. It's actually a creative stuff. It deals with the mind. You need to be creative to be able to deliver most of these things. It's not something that, most of the things they even teach you are things that after showing you now have to be creative in doing them. You must not do them exactly the same way they showed you. You have to be creative while doing them. So I just wrap my head around it. I just try to be creative about it.
Okay, Sophie, for the sake of those watching, in 1 minute, tell us how long did it take you to, get yourself in the position where you are now with the special effect makeup you're doing? For the sake of those that want to take this as a career, how long did it take you to master what you're doing, and what risks did you take to get to where you are today?
Okay.
In 1 minute.
Actually, I would say I can't really give a specific time it took me because I'm actually a fast learner. When I actually got into learning, when I put my mind I was going to learn and I stayed the field, I think the second day of my class, my trainer already was like, "Wow, you're really a fast learner. You that." Something I told you yesterday, I can't believe you just recreated this look right now. Like, are you serious? So I'm actually fast when it comes to learning, especially when I have my mind in it. And if there's anything that has actually helped me with, when I get a script, I prepare myself. Like I set myself, okay, on this script, they might be needing a nice cap, they might be needing a gunshot, they might be needing a nice cut or the neck or a hand or something. So I go back into practicing. I go back into practicing 4 times.
Thank you so much,
So
Sophie. Due to time, we can continue having this conversation, which, it's really enlightening and it's beautiful to hear an artist express, their love for their craft. But thank you so much for your time, Rhoda, Sophie, Barnabas, for joining us to talk about your craft, which is the special effect makeup. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And of course, with that, we have come to the end of Daybreak Extra. Hope you took a thing or two from our show. As usual, promise to bring you the same show next week, Saturday. So please do stick with us. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Do have a lovely day.